being Milton Tough in the Milton days was basically kind of like being able to work under like prison and concentration camp type conditions.
Milton Tough is really just being able to thrive in an abusive relationship.
It was like being in the middle of a firefight 24/7.
Working in trash pits, never sleeping, blogging, getting shit on by our own fans until we wanted to cry.
Can you blog on the internet without the internet? Because squirrels ate your internet.
You are essentially proving yourself as a slave of Barstool Sports.
Hi, I'm Trista Crick, Barstool's correspondent. When you're new here, a lot of phrases come up that you've never heard before. So I wanted to investigate what those mean and where they came from. One of the phrases that kept coming up was Milton Tough. So I sat down with some of the OGs to get the scoop. So tell me what it was like back in the Milton days.
I mean, it was a repurposed dentist office is what it literally was.
Virtual tour of Barstool World headquarters starting now.
It just feels like a different company entirely.
It was a place of torture that somehow got worse once the drills left.
The working conditions in Milton were less than ideal. We had to deal with no air conditioner, no internet. I remember in the summertime, stink bugs would come into the lights above our ceilings.
One day, it just rained bugs. It just rained bugs from the ceiling.
There was squirrels living in the office. We had a woman who drove into our office in a car twice.
My first day, Gaz was like, all right, this is where you'll sit. And there was a table that was, I'm not even joking, it was a room filled with like props for the blackout tour. And Gaz did one of the classic, like take your arm and just shove off enough stuff so that there's like enough space to put a laptop.
Everyone was in tight quarters, at times getting on each other's nerves. Bunch of people who never had a real job in their life, so like easily spoiled.
There was no worse conditions to start a company than what we had. So when I come into like Barstool now and I see there's like snacks and water and things like that, it's like, holy shit, this is like, we've fucking made it.
You come out of that, that's how you become a $500 million company.
What is Milton like as a city? Is it a rough and tumble kind of place?
Being from Boston, just the phrase Milton Tough's very funny because Milton is not a tough place, but the confines of that office, you'll go from a ticket taker to a six-figure salary human being real quick if you can deal with that pressure cooker.
Maybe nobody at the company knows as well as you do about the concept of being Milton Tough. Can you describe what that time period was like for you specifically?
No one gave me directions. No one was like, all right, this is your day-to-day duties. You just kind of had to figure it out. And that was kind of what everyone had to do. So when I hear Milton Tough, that's kind of what I think. It's like, they're not going to go crying and they're not going to like throw a pity party for themselves because no one's going to help you out. No one's going to like pat you on the back.
Well, Milton Tough is just like you work around the clock. Like I expected a lot from the employees and nobody was making a lot of money for a long time.
Milton Tough, I think resiliency and also taking responsibility. That's a big one. Say, for example, Dave slips outside of his apartment on a leaf and drops his car keys down a sewer. You have to be like, you know what? Hand up, my fault. Like, I'll be better next time.
I wouldn't go anywhere without my computer. I wouldn't go to a party. New Year's, there was college football games, and I'd be at the New Year's party, like in the corner, blogging.
Like back when we started, we literally wrote 10 to 15 blogs a day. I don't know what most of our people are doing in quarantine. I don't think much. I don't know what YP's doing. I mean, what the fuck is YP doing? He says he's making videos. He hasn't sent me one thing about it, not one. If you're Milton Tough, what YP is doing right now, I would see him and I would be tearing him a new asshole.
Yeah, so the other part of Milton Tough is Dave Portnoy.
What do they say about dickheads mercurial? He was mercurial. He was real mercurial.
You were in Dave's crosshairs 24/7, and depending on his day, you were going to get it 90% of the time. You were going to have a pissed off, ornery Dave, and he was going to take it out on us.
In hindsight, he was probably just really stressed trying to make it all work.
I don't know if it's right or wrong. It's not my own money anymore, so if you want to steal from fucking Penn and Chernin, you can, I guess. You're not going to steal from me.
I was very scared in the beginning. I was like terrified to talk to him, terrified to go up to his office. I got yelled at a lot my first year, but I kind of realized like Dave is just very straightforward. He always tells it how it is, no matter what, even if it's like a hard truth.
I would get emails from Dave where it was like, Jesus Christ, Feilenberg, you might be the first person to ever get fired, for like a little like fuck ups where but I would laugh at him because I only knew Dave as the character. And then I met him and I was like, oh no, those emails were dead serious. I just skated by on that.
You play the music till I cut the music. We've gone over this like 1,000 times.
You don't want Dave negative feedback is like, you know, people would quit. People have quit just from their first day of negative feedback from Dave. And then the follow-up is the worst part. Like, you can deal with Dave yelling at you to your face, but then he brings it to the stoolies and just rips you even worse and then lets them, you know, it's open season on you.
Has he ever roasted you, like, to a point of embarrassment on the internet?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're a bum! You have low-class taste! I needed that. And the big bad bully wins again. Do you think you're capable of like drinking and doing your job, or once you start drinking, it's automatic you're gonna fall asleep? No apology, Hank. You have bum scumbag tastes. That's just a fact.
That's how you get success out of people, shaming and humiliation. That's Dave's strategy.
One time he told me that I never cease to disappoint him, or like I never cease to amaze him by how disappointing I am. Basically for 2 years straight, I was just expecting it.
Dealing with Dave, I remember I'd been on the road for like 2 months for like the Blackout Tour after 3 straight years of doing concerts. And I remember him like the day I got back, I hadn't slept in like 3 days and he was just like, why isn't this done? And I remember like walking out and having a good call with my dad. It was the only time I ever thought about leaving Barstool.
But I would say that it was like 95% like normal Dave, the absolute man, like love working for him. And then like 5% of the time he'd kind of lash out or like bitch at me on camera. If you're, you know, weighing the two things of like, on one hand, you have the best job in the world, but you have to get bitched out by Dave Portnoy like once a month. You know, you take that every time.
What are some things in HQ2, HQ3 that people take for granted or bitch
Everything.
Like I see people now and they're like, oh, he called me a name, or oh, he made fun of me on radio, or he tweeted about me. I'm like, that's the least of our worries back then.
Now that we're here in New York and there's a lot of people who obviously have come in and only know HQ1, HQ2, what are some things that they kind of trip over or complain over that all the old Milton guys look at each other and just kind of scoff?
I don't know, when the snack cabinet runs out, Hank didn't eat for 2 days. Eventually got up the courage to ask Dave if we're allowed to have lunch. And we're complaining that we don't have enough fucking hot Cheetos and Takis.
When we went through a phase where we complained about not having bottled water, it drove me crazy because we just didn't have water sometimes.
Do you think you would be as successful as you are now without all the things that built you at Milton?
No, I don't think if I was the person that was an intern, if that person was trying to become an intern at Barstool now, like I never would have even gotten through the door.
What it takes to turn this blog of us, these idiots, just typing our thoughts, to turn that into $500 million company, it's like you can only get that one certain way, and that's doing the Milton Tough way, either physically being in that office and mentally having that mindset.
I don't have any resentment for anyone that like didn't go through it. I wouldn't want to put anyone through it, but it is something that like I think we're all proud that we went through. I think we all became way better for it now. Like I wouldn't change a single thing about it. The work ethic that Dave instilled in all of us, trial by combat, essentially, was all things that made, I think everyone in Milton is doing really well at the company now. And I think Dave respects everyone at Milton that was there at Milton, probably potentially more than a lot of the other new people that came in, because he knows that we had to go through the wars. So that's kind of where I'd leave it with that.